talk about those class interactions. So this is going to be the program. So if you guys want to follow along with this, create a program. You can call it a bike class or whatever, or a bike project or whatever. If you don't, you can just watch along. This is going to be recorded, so we'll put it up for you. All right. So let's walk through what we're going to do here. Okay. So we're going to have, for this, like I want y'all to have two, but today, just for simplicity's sake, we're just going to have one, the controller, and then a bike class. Okay?
Can we make a new project for this?
I would. Yeah, I would always make new projects for each one of these. Always make new projects. Okay? All right. So I'm going to use bike. We're going to build the bike class. Now talk to me about what a class is again.
Classification of object. No, classification is where objects go.
Right. So it will define a certain classification of objects. Right. You're going to give it its properties and the actions that that object can do. Okay? So we're going to do that fairly simply with this, and we're going to create it. Now, notice that this is the right. Actually, here, let's just build it. Right. So what is the code that I need to have for a class?
Doesn't it have public
Is this
classes,
right?
lowercase?
Is that right? Right. Okay. Good. So what needs to be lowercase?
The P and C.
P in public. Good. C in class. Good. Okay. We good? Ooh, the B should be capitalized for two reasons. One, it is the name that's I've already named the Java file with capital B. But then also the convention is this is going to be a referenced object, right? It is going to be a referenced kind of information. So you always want to capitalize class names. Okay? All right, so am I good? No parentheses. That should be gone. Okay? The spacing you don't really need. I could put space. So white space is ignored in Java, right? Which would be fine, but, convention is going to be, maybe one space, maybe not. Okay? All right, questions of this? So that's the structure. Right now, let's have some instance variables. Can you talk to me about what an instance variable is?
Basically, variables that come before, basically the main constructor.
Yeah, so that is where you should put them in the code. But what is the difference between a local variable and an instance variable?
A local variable is one variable that's embedded inside the code, and it's only variable locally inside the class. But
okay, so to be clear, so instance variables are visible inside the class unless you make them public. But a local variable is going to be declared in a block of code, right? And then it's only visible in that block of code. So an instance variable are variables that define attributes of that class, right? So we're going to just have two here, right? We're going to have color and speed, okay? So if I want to do a color, right? So what else do I, and then let's say speed, right? Is this right? No. Oh, Denise, you said the wrong thing. You're very close, but you said the wrong thing. You said public. If it was public, then everybody could see it and everybody could change the speed. When you're riding a bike, do you want anybody else to change your speed?
No.
No, you want to control it. So we're gonna make it these private, and color will probably be a string, right?
Because it's a word, not a data.
Okay, and then for this one, we're gonna say private int speed. Okay?
Oh, it's saying a type color. Oh, I've heard you. Great.
Right? So those are instance variables. Now let's build a constructor for this. What's the constructor going to be? How do I build a constructor?
You got the same name as the class.
Okay. What? No return type. Good. So what do I need first? Right? And constructors are always public because they're going to be called outside of the class, right? Right? And then I need parentheses. Why do I need parentheses?
For parameters.
The parentheses will be for parameters, right? And what kind of thing in Java always has parameters? Methods. And a constructor is a specialized type of a method, okay? Why not a semicolon here? Good. So this is it would be this. I'm defining, Cole, a block of code, right? And so block of codes never have semicolons after them, only statements, right? So let's put a statement in this constructor that will have a semicolon after it. Let's go ahead and define the initial value of color. So what's the default color for our bikes going to be?
Blue.
Blue or red? Who?
Blue.
Okay, you're shouting the loudest. We're going to go with blue. Okay. So now I'm going to say color. Here, let's. All right. Am I good?
Wait, do you have to say string again to be behind it?
So if y'all notice, I'm trying to get you to catch some errors. So what happens if I do this? I'm making a local variable called color. So this is not the same thing as this. Okay? So that's going to cause a problem. So once I've defined a variable, I no longer include the data type. Now I just call that variable. Okay? All right? What should the initial speed?
10.
You don't need to private.
Oh, why don't I need private?
Because it's already defined.
It's already been defined, so I don't need it, right? Okay, good. Right, and let's start off with the bike standing still. Right, it's better, it's easier to learn how to ride a bike when it's not moving on its own accord. Okay, so now we've got our constructor, right? All right. Now, what if I wanted another bike or another? I want to do another constructor where they tell me what color bike they're going to have. How do I do that?
You
Do B.
void.
So if I did void, that's going to cause a problem because then it's not going to know it's a constructor. It's going to think it's another method. So we'll leave the return type off. The constructors never have a return type, but we're going to call it the same name. But what do I need to add now? Because whoever calls it is going to need to pass in a color. And for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to name this local variable C, right? So C is a local variable here because I'm declaring it inside this block of code. All right? So now I would say color equals what?
Red.
And so here I want it to be whatever gets passed in. So that's the information that's passed in from the user, so we're going to put C. All right? And now, if y'all are sweating this, don't worry. I'm going to show you how we call this later. Yeah.
So in the parameter, it could also be string color, so the same thing as instance.
It could if I did that, right? So if you feel like you're hanging on like by your fingertips, just ignore this part, right? So here I could put, if I wanted to do color, I could totally do this.
So how would you use both of them? Because they have the same name.
You're right. So how does a class refer to itself?
Is
Okay. So if I write this dot color, now it's saying that the color for the instance variable is equal to the local variable color. But I just want to keep this simple for everybody today, so we're just going to do C. Okay. All right. So now I've got two bikes. Let's give this two methods, right? One, I want to see how fast they're going, right? And I want to be able to increase the speed. Okay. So let's build a method. Okay, and we're going to call it go faster. Right? All right, am I good?
should it be private?
Ah, so if it was private, right, we would need to call it inside. So you are absolutely thinking the right way. I know that I'm going to want to call this from the controller, so I'm making it public. But yeah, so make it private, and then if you can't get to what you need, then make it public, right? Okay, so we're going to do go faster. So am I good?
No.
I need parentheses, right? Okay, because I'm going to have parameters here, maybe, right? Okay, and all methods have parameters, even if they're blank. All right, am I good? Oh, I need a return type, but I'm not going to get anything back from it because it's just going to be a command that it executes. So, void, right? Public void, go faster. Okay? Now, what code would we be doing here? Cole, remember that this is when we're going to make a statement, right? We're going to tell Java to do something. So this is when we get a semicolon. What am I going to tell it to do here? Right, but how do I do that with the speed variable? Cole, do it. What? So new speed. So what? How fast is the bike going now? Is it right when we build the bike, it's not going right, so it's 0. Now as time goes on, right, we want it to go faster, so we tell it to go faster. So speed is 0 currently, but we want it to go up by, let's say, 1. So how do I do it? Speed equals what? So new speed. So that would be declaring an object, right? And speed is just a variable, so we just want to change the value of that variable, right? Because the speed is a quality of this bike, correct? So, right, well, I want it to go up by 1, right? So I need to say speed is equal to the old, right, speed plus 1. Okay? I could do speed plus plus.
Oh.
All right, so that's just a quick way to do that, right? But I want to go back. I want to do it the other way, just so we can see it, right? So if I have this, all right, cool. So look, this I want to make sure you get this because this is like one of those. You're certainly not alone. I'm sure a lot of people are making the same mistake, right? So if we're looking at this class, right, and I want to get to speed, first we get the correct color. If I want to talk about speed, right, speed is initially set to 0. So this is not a class. So if you want to say new, right, that defines a new object, right? So this builds an object. Is speed an object? No, right? It's just an attribute. It's a quality of an object. So then we're just going to change the value, right? So again, and I know y'all don't like my buckets, but we're going to use them anyway, okay? So this is a bucket, and we have named it speed, right? Okay? And right now, right here, I'm putting a value into that bucket, and what value did I put in there? 0 to begin with. Now down here, I'm going back to that bucket, right? And what I'm doing is I'm saying, so here's speed, right? That says speed, just trust me. Right? So speed equals, right? So I want to put something in to this bucket, a new value. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, take the bucket speed, take the value that's currently in there. What value is currently in there? 0, right? And add 1 to it. And then what does that come out to? Right? So this is 1, right? And then put that into the bucket speed, right? Put that into the variable speed. So speed is going up by 1. Does that make sense? Okay. Everybody get that? All right, so now if we go back, let's keep working. So now we've got this. Now we have a method, but I also want to be able to see how fast it's going, right? But I don't want to make that variable public, so I need to give it a new method that's just going to return that value. Right, so it's going to be public because it needs to be accessed in the controller class. I'm going to be returning an int because speed is an integer, right? And then I'm just going to call it get speed, right? And then now I'm just going to say return speed, right? So that just means it's going to take that variable and just give it to whoever asked for it. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, so that's our class, right? These are its actions. These are the constructors so that we can build the bikes. And these are its instance variables, right? You with me?
Yep.
Okay. So now that we've got this, we can come over here and we can start working on this, okay? Now, Cole, we were talking about new before, right? And you were saying that because we use that keyword a lot. So I'm going to build a bike for you. Just because I care. You're welcome. Okay? So I'm going to call this Cole bike. Okay? Now, what do I need to do in order to put a bike in this instance variable, right? This is going to be a variable, a local variable in the main method, okay? So what am I going to put in here? What kind of information am I going to hold in this? Yeah, right? So I need to say what kind of information goes into this variable. So we say bike, Cole bike, right? All right, and then it's going to equal what? Good? I need to put in the parentheses here, right? Because I'm actually calling the constructor, right? When I build the new bike. Okay, so now, Cole, you got a bike, right? And your bike has a certain speed, but because I'm lonely, right? And I want friends, I'm also going to have a bike so that we can ride together. Okay, but I, unlike you, I'm not just going to go with the status quo. I want to choose my own color, right? So my bike is going to be red. Okay? Because that's, wait, what color is your bike? Ah, it's red. So I'm gonna go with
Orange.
orange. Yeah, orange is the new black.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a TV show, y'all. All right. So now we've got two bikes. Okay. Now a lot of y'all get scared because of these yellow squiggly lines. All that's really saying is like you haven't used this yet, so you don't really need it, right? So you don't have to worry about the yellow lines. It's like, you know, telling you that nothing's happening yet.
Did you get the split screen?
Okay. Do y'all want to? Does everybody know how to do that? Okay. So if I have these two together and I want to see them side by side, I can just come up here to the tab, right? Click and drag and like pull it like this. I can put it where one's above, one's below, right?
Like this. That means the drag don't have to.
Yeah, you can move it in different places, okay? So now I can have them side by side so I can see, right, what they are. All right. Now listen, so let's go about this. Now remember, Cole and I both have bikes, right? They both have colors, but they're different. And they both have speeds, but those are different. So Cole, because he's young and wants to be cool and doesn't want to hang out with the teacher, he is going to try to get away from it, right? So how does Cole go faster? So we need your bike to go faster, right? So if we're going to get your bike to go faster, how do we do that with these variables? Right? So Cole bike is that variable. It has a bike in it, so I can call all of the methods for that bike, right? And so now I can have go faster, right? And I need the parentheses why? Right, okay. So let's, just so that we can see what's happening here, let's print these out, right? So I'm going to say Cole bike dot get speed, okay? And then afterwards, I'm going to say Cole bike dot get speed, okay? So if we run this, right, save everything, and then we run it. My console's not up. Hold on. Let me do that. All right, so here's my console. I'm going to run it. Oh, it's running a different. Hold on. Oh, yeah. So I made a very common mistake that y'all make all the time. Why isn't this saying anything? Why isn't it bringing anything out? Right, so I haven't printed it out. So I need to print out the information it returns. Yeah, I just hadn't gotten to it yet. All right, now if I do it, right? It's going. And let's just make sure so that we can see that this is running. Then our bike's going to say vroom. Because that's what bikes say when they go fast. All right. Okay. So this, y'all see what's happening here? Now, if I print out at the end of this, right? If I print out how fast I'm going, I'm still going 0. Right? Is this making sense? All right. what I'd like to do now is to get you guys. So I'm gonna